Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Percar Studio. My name is Rudy, and today we're going to show you how to install the SiriMoto Krispy Shift Kit. The kit consists of the short shift adapter itself. For this particular car, it reduces the fore and aft, forward and back throw by about 33%. And then we also include the ball-end bushing. This is an optional piece, but it's part of the Krispy Shift Kit. Along with that, you'll be getting some shifter base bushings. Now these base bushings kind of clamp onto the housing mechanism and basically make it rigid. That way there's no real slop in here. Definitely check out our website for more information on how that works. But yeah, the installation is a little bit more complicated than the 9th gens, but once you watch this video, you'll have a full understanding of how to tackle this installation. So let's go ahead and get right into it and show how to install this SiriMoto Krispy Shift Kit. Using a non-marring pry tool, take off the side bolsters off of the center console. It helps to remove any additional trays you may have in the center console. Next, we'll remove the shift knob using a pry tool or a pick to release the shift boot collar off of the shift knob. Just to give you guys a better view of it, you're going to have one of these clips on either side, so just pry on one of them and pull the boot down to release it. Next, we'll remove both of these plastic pieces using a non-marring pry tool, starting from the bottom, working our way up. To remove the last clip, you could wiggle it away from the dash and pull it out at the same time, but you can also do it with the pry tool if you get in deep enough. Now we need to remove some Phillips head screws to keep us from losing anything or forgetting when they go once we put everything back. We're going to mark a lot of these components with masking tape and bag everything individually. Now we'll use our pry tool to come in from the back of this centerpiece. And to give you a good visual of where all the retaining clips are on this piece, here's the bottom side of it. You have one right here in the center towards the back, and then you have two up here on either side. These two, you could pry directly on them on this tab here by prying up against this base. But these, they're a little bit trickier, so you have to use your hands and pull up from both sides. And depending on your vehicle and what options you might have, you have a couple clip connectors, nothing too crazy. They all just have simple release mechanisms. So just press in the release clip and pull them out. Now we'll remove the climate control panel and simply come in from the sides with your pry tool to release the retaining clips. Similar idea with these clips, they're pretty straightforward. They have simple release mechanisms. Just disconnect those to take the panel off. Next, we'll release the 3 mounting screws using a Phillips head driver. Next, we can remove this whole assembly. Now we'll remove the power outlet and USB panel. Just to give you guys an up-close look, there's a little opening here. You want to come in with your pick to pull on this, and it'll release these mounting tabs on the back. Once those are loose, just keep prying it open, and these tabs will release from the top. As for the connectors, it's pretty straightforward. Once again, simple release buttons on the back of this and on the side of the power outlet. Next, we need to remove all the mounting clips holding the harness to the panels. Can get a little bit tricky. You can use picks, pry bars, or just a knife or some pliers to cut them. You won't really need them in the future. It's just really I think there to help during the assembly of the car. But you know, after these installs, we ran the car without them, and there's no real noises or rattles that are apparent after driving without them. Now we'll remove the protective panel found on the bottom of the center console. This will give us access to 2 bolts we need to remove. Again, make sure to keep track of all the nuts and bolts so you know where they go once you assemble everything back. Also, here's something you might not know. was pretty well publicized, but in case you haven't seen any of those old news articles from when the car first came out, there's a hidden little Easter egg underneath of this panel. Pretty cool stuff. And just to gain access to one of the connectors before we actually remove the center console, we'll take off this back panel using our non-marring pry tool in between the seam of the panel and the console itself. Also, it does help if you move the seats forward as much as you can, just to give you a little bit of extra room to pry at it more easily. Once you remove that panel, press up on the bottom of the connector and pull it out to release it. Make sure to also undo the clip holding the harness. Now we can remove the center console in its entirety. Now there is one last connector to watch out for, which is directly behind the shift lever assembly. You want to get that from underneath, so pull up on the center console a bit, try to get at it from underneath and pull it off, and release that USB cable by pressing in on the retaining clip. It also helps once again to have the transmission in 4th gear so that the lever is out of the way as much as possible. Now we'll remove this metal support bracket using an 8mm socket. Putting the transmission into 5th gear, we'll start removing the shift cables. For the fore and aft cable, using 2 fingers, pull the retaining spring apart and then press down to release the cable from the ball end. Next, we'll remove the side-to-side cable by releasing the clip with a pick or pry tool. Be extra careful not to lose that one, as it may come flying off. Now we can release the cable assembly from the shift lever body. And we'll proceed by removing 4 10mm bolts holding the shift assembly to the body of the car. Now that we've removed the assembly from the vehicle, we can go ahead and prep it by installing the short shift adapter and getting the base bushings and hardware ready. Using the open ends of both an 11 and 13mm wrench, pry on it like so. Make sure you don't lose it if you're going to reuse it, but in this case we're going to install our Krispy Shift bushing. Before we throw on the short shift adapter, we're going to lubricate this new bushing with some of the grease still on the ball end. And you can use some of the included Loctite, just a little droplet will do, and then install it with the set screws pointing forward and back. Now we'll remove the factory rubber base bushings, starting by pressing out the metal insert and then prying the rubber bushing out. We found it easiest to use the included Allen key to wiggle the insert out. Finally, we'll install our new ball end bushing. Using a little bit of super glue, we'll temporarily hold the lower halves of the base bushings in place. That way, once we put the assembly in place, it'll be easier to put the upper half of the bushings on and tighten down the hardware.
I plant you now and I'll reap you later.
Now we can start putting everything back together, starting with the shift assembly base bushings, tighten those down, then finish that portion off by installing the cables. Just a pro tip here, we do include this 4mm Allen key so you could screw these on, start them up. But then you do want to finish that off with something with a little bit more leverage. So if you don't have a 4mm bit, you could use a socket to extend your leverage on this end, and it'll give you enough reach down at the lower, harder reach bolts. Before you reinstall your center console, make sure you install the metal support bracket with the 8mm bolts we had taken off. Now we can put the center console back in place, making sure you route the harness properly so that you don't have to take it off and on. Also, when you're coming up towards the front of the console, make sure it's properly aligned in place with the retaining tabs towards the front of the console. They are a little bit tricky to align properly.
Yes, I am.
And that'll pretty much do it for the installation of the SiriMoto short shift adapter, base bushings, and ball end bushing for our 10th Gen Civic. Overall, the installation is pretty straightforward. Definitely a lot of parts that have to come off of the interior or center console, but nothing too crazy. It can all be done with simple hand tools. And if you watch this video, I'm sure you'll be able to do it without any problems. But let us know if you have any questions or comments down below. Check this product out on our website, www.procivic.com. Once again, my name is Rudy from ProCar Studio. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more updates, and I'll catch you next time.